Hello everybody, Drew here, tip of the Mitt Flips, where I'm a full-time eBay reseller, and every 100 subscribers, there's a giveaway. So if you're watching, make sure you subscribe so you have a chance to win. I have been busy, that's why it's been a little iffy with videos lately. You might not have noticed, they're just spread out a little further than normal. But it's because I have been doing some remodeling of the garage. Finally got the desk completely put together. Now I just have to run a Ethernet cord and power down to here so I can move my desktop desk and all that type of stuff, my office basically, into the garage. So that's a plus, so I don't have to run up and down the stairs whenever I need to use that computer. Also, what I did is I took down the overhead storage area and got rid of all that stuff, took that out to my storage, and then I moved this part, this entertainment center type thing, over against the wall to be used as actual storage, and beyond that, just a little bit of, you know, you should always make your workspace something you enjoy to be in, so a little bit of, you know, just kind of the man cave vibe. I've always just kind of done this kind of thing. I've always been a collector of shiny things. I don't know, whatever. Had a couple pieces of drywall just laying around from a house project, threw those up, finished the insulation. This was the big thing. I needed to get insulation in so I could stop freezing to death. And now it is, mwah, it's beautiful in here. Beautiful. It's great. I need a small circulating fan just because of the higher ceilings. These are like 10-foot ceilings. The heat gets up there and it kind of just sticks there because as you'll see here, it says it's almost 80 degrees, but it is definitely not almost 80 degrees down here. But if I'm up on a ladder, it's 80 degrees up there. So I need a small fan to get that circulating. I moved my workstation I had. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might leave it here for now until I either find a purpose for it. I kind of was thinking make it into a testing center of that kind of thing, but I think that just works better as the workbench. And then what I did is I moved all that stuff. I put a shelf up here, and this I've been wanting to do for a while because anybody that works a lot on computers or on your phone or anything like that, you're like this all day, and it's terrible for your posture, for your back, your everything. So this is going to help a little bit, so I'm looking up for a portion of my day. That's a big plus. And then this was kind of just dead space anyway. I would use it for when I was pulling orders, throwing things up here. But beyond that, this was almost useless. If this gets to be a bother, what I'll do is just punch a hole down here, and then all those things will just move down here and disappear, and I get that space back. So that's cool. And then the printer, this was the best I could come up with. I don't know, that's great. What I might end up doing is mounting, if I end up liking everything, I might end up mounting the dispenser, which unfortunately the dispenser that comes with it is very small. It doesn't work with the rolls I use when I first get them. They got to be half gone before it'll even spin on there. But what I might do is somehow rig this with something, or just make something myself, hang it up further, and then the printer can actually go here. I think that's an inevitability, but I was running low on time. I actually had to do something that I don't like to do. I don't suggest you do, but in an emergency case or in a, oh no, I got to do it anyway type of case, what I did is I packed up, I'll put it on the screen, but I packed up the only order that had to go out yesterday, which was Monday, and I packed it up and put a label on it. So then in the eyes of eBay, it does show that I got it out on time. If the customer complains, they could, you know, cause you some trouble, but it buys you a day. It's, again, not something I would suggest, not something to definitely not make a habit of. I've bought things before where they print the label, put it on the box, it sits at their house for 3 days. I've had that happen. It does not make your customer happy, but I needed to get everything done so I could get back to normal work. So that's kind of just what I had to do. Now, the timing of this kind of works out good because I had a viewer, Becca Silverstein. Actually, I like that last name. That was a band I enjoyed in high school. But Becca Silverstein, she requested that I go over kind of my organizational workflow. So now that I have a brand new workflow, might as well. So you kind of got the vibe of everything I did. Also, this is a big thing for me. This is, you know, my workout dip station, pull-up bar type of thing. And it's only functional 10% of the time normally because there's always stuff in the way. And now it is in a designated spot where I can use all parts of it at all time. And health is important to me. So this is something that is very important to me that's functional. Also, now my guitar stuff is out and available all the time. Just a better workflow in general. But I think what she was asked about is the actual workspace, how I organize it. So this workbench, what I got here, this was from a store closing out. It was a Peebles or a, what is the other one, Circus or something like that. There's 4 or 5, 3 or 4 of them that are all the same company, just different names where you live, but they went out of business everywhere, or your Kmart's or whatever. Those are the places you go to. You go, hey, what are you doing with these things? I want them because they are amazing. I have all my USPS boxes here, except for my number 7s. I used to tuck them up there. It became a pain. And so now they're over here. And that's just kind of something. Don't be afraid to move stuff. If it's bothering you every time you do it, move it. So, and then my smaller envelopes and everything go here. So this is just really nice. Everything anything I ever need on hand as far as tools is always right here. Tapes there. Just everything is within reach, and I know where it is. I don't have to think about it. I know where it is. I need that. I know where it is, which is great. And then eventually, I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the space with this, but I'm sure as time progresses, this will become more functional, maybe decorative. I really don't know. I just really want my computer down here because that's a big help to me. But the only thing I do as far as storage organization is that, like my electronics, those just go on my electronics racks. No organization at all. There's a limited number. I don't have any duplicates. I have had duplicates, and then I just put in the listing or in the custom SKU, it's B, and I'll put a sticky note on it, and that's it. But as far as the shelving goes, it's very simple. Shelf 1, 2, 3, sorry, reverse shelf A, B, C, and then the shelves, the unit is A, B, C, and then the shelves just number from bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason it's upside down, which if I could go back in time, I would switch it around. But when I first put them in, I was not using the top 2 shelves. So when I switched over from my old shelves, I didn't want to gap it and then start. So my brain said, you know what, just do it in reverse and then you'll fill in the rest later. I'm used to it now, so it's not a big deal. But going back, I would have rather had it the other way. It just makes more sense to everyone's brain, I think. Books and VHS are going here currently. This was kind of the reason I wanted to move this over here, because I needed more book storage. And this came with a various levels of adjustable shelving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these 2 things listed that I've been avoiding forever. I don't know why I do it to myself. Every time I go to avoid listing something, it ends up not even close to as much work as I planned. And then I'm just mad at myself for not listing it 2 months ago. But I'm going to have books right here on this half of the entertainment center. And then this half will still be functional for my own personal things. And then down here, I'm starting to separate definitely going to sell records from my thinking about listening to before I make a decision records. And that's kind of my process at this point, and it's just a great place to store them down there. And I don't want to list more than probably filling that up because they're not easy to read. They're not new by any means. Any more than that full, even if I alphabetize them, it's a lot to go through. So I don't need to do any more than filling that bottom there. And then beyond that, the only other storage I use, another electronics rack, but same thing. I do not have any organization of this. I just know I have a certain amount, no duplicates. It's not too hard to find. And then I have this, which I'm using as an overflow currently. And these things, it's very minimal. It's a couple electronics that should be moved and a bigger box I just really didn't have a place for. So I will probably relocate these soon. And I'll probably end up using this as more of garage functional tools shelf until I need it again. Because that's what happened before. I had other stuff on it, needed the space, cleared it out, used the space, but now I probably don't need that space anymore. And then my DVD rack, game rack, I do need to relocate that, but the problem I said before is I had it right there and it fit perfect, and then it gets super hot, and I probably came close to starting a fire. I don't know, temporarily, I might move it back over in that corner. That seems probably best. I was very sad that it misses fitting behind the door right there by a half an inch. So that made me bummed because I was like, perfect, it's gonna fit. I know it. I'm a good, what's that called? Spatial recognition. I can see something, go, okay, that's gonna fit, that kind of thing. And I knew it in my mind. I was like, I know it's gonna fit. And then it was just a hair off. Well, Becca, thank you for the question. I hope that's what you wanted. I'm pretty sure that's what you were asking. If not, you got it anyway. And then just a reminder, if you have any questions, please ask them. I have to think of things to talk about usually. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will be more than happy to not have to think up a tip of the day or a question or something for that day. It gives me a little bit of a break. And so today we have, not including that one, 12 orders going out for about $150, $160. So that's $13 per item. Not great, but when you sell VHS and cheaper books, it's gonna bring your cost per item down whenever one sells. It's just kind of thing. Quite a few of these are things I'm glad to get rid of, things that I'm not going to ever buy again, stuff that was my bread and butter for most of my eBay resale journey up until, I don't know, 6 months ago, something like that. Then the categories got flooded and it was over. That's how quick it happens. So first up on B1 is a vintage Corningware Cornflower Blue B1. It's gotta be this one because it's the only one down here. And I'll double check the numbers unless I can see it fairly easily. This is a P1.5B and it's a P1.5B. But yeah, Cornflower Blue, this was my bread and butter. I was finding them daily, weekly for sure, and they would sell. It was continuous. Now what it is I've noticed it took all the way until we got back to home cooking season, until Thanksgiving, coming up on Christmas, people home, people cook for somebody and they drop a lid, or they pull it out of the cupboard and they realize it's broken, or a gift or whatever. Cookware is now starting to sell like it used to sell year round, but I think when everybody was stuck at home, it was one of those items, cookware, people were like, well, I want to make some money, I'm stuck at home. Go into your kitchen, you start selling stuff, you go into your own house, you start selling stuff, and I think that's what happened, and now all those categories are flooded, except for your more niche, high-end cookware. So that's the only thing I'm going to buy from now on. And I got $7 plus shipping. And then next up on A2 is a vintage Corningware Cornflower Blue skillet. And I'm gonna grab both because I actually sold two, but I might not have sold two. And you say, Drew, how is that possible? How do you sell two of something and also not sell two of something? The second one, they picked local pickup. If you saw my last video, I live in a town of 4,000 something. So the odds of it being local pickup are next to zero. I have done local pickup, so it's not impossible, but I reached out to them. They haven't messaged me back. They have very few reviews on their eBay account. They have very little sales or purchases, fairly new account. I'm thinking they got confused and went, oh, this is cheap shipping. Some people, when they pick local pickup, I think they're so used to the Walmart pickup and your other various grocery store pickup type thing that they think that's what it is. It's not. You have to come to me or at least meet me in my town. I really don't think that's what happened, but I'm going to pull it now anyways. Why not? $7.99 plus shipping on that one. And then on B1 again, vintage wooden poker chip caddy. And this is the one I got that had the vintage clay chips in it with the, I think, jockey and horse on them. So I pulled the chips out because those were worth 35, 40 bucks-ish. You know, whatever somebody offers me. And then for the caddy, I got $24.99 plus shipping. And then this one, I took a low offer, but I didn't care. I wanted it gone. Shouldn't have bought it in the first place. B3 Vintage Echo Wear B3. It's this one here, and it's not in terrible shape, but the handle is in terrible shape. It's cracked there. It's lost its luster. And what you can do with this, there's a lot of varieties of things you can do, but I usually will hit them with some, actually, I'll hit them with Goo Gone because it just happens to be on hand. But anything that's like an oil base, you can use olive oil, or some other weird things I've heard, peanut butter, like weird things, but I don't want to use something I actually have to wash off it later. But don't put it on and then immediately take a picture, because then when it dries, it's not going to look the same and they're going to be disappointed when they get it. But you can bring back some of it by putting some type of oil-based finish, whatever you want. Look up a video on YouTube. I'm sure there's a million ideas. Me personally, I use Goo Gone because I have it on hand. That's what I use. I let it dry, and it doesn't restore it, but it brings back a little bit. With this one, I probably just didn't even try. I was probably like, nah, let's not even bother. Just list it as is. And I got $5 plus shipping. And then next is the other skillet, $7.99 local pickup. Again, I do not think that it's actually going to go through, but I'll have to wait. And it's supposed to, I'm looking at my computer. That's weird that it's here now. It's useful. It's supposed to go out today, so it is what it is. I've had this happen before. If they don't message me back, it's not my fault in any way. So it's not something that's going to get a strike on your account. They have to communicate with you in order to link up and exchange the goods and scan the barcode and all the other things. Because when you do it, it's actually very simple, and it's really one of the only things that eBay's done right in a long time. You bring your phone with you. They have their phone with them. They pull up their order, you pull up their order, they scan the QR code, boom. Or you scan the QR, one of the ways, one of you scans the other one, and it's done. And then next up, we have Danzig. Nope, I moved those. I'll remember that at some point. And I gotta get this out of here. But, you know, you can only buy insulation so many sizes, so I had to buy a giant roll, even though I did not need it. Here we go. Danzig. This is their best album, in my opinion. It's the one that's got Mother on it. Danzig on CD, and I got $12.99 free shipping. That goes media mail, of course. And then on B1 again, there's a popular shelf. Corningware French White F2B. The shelf's getting empty, and I even see something else on the shelf that comes out today. That's great. I want the bottom shelves empty, but that big guy there, another thing, you know, these were great items for me, but category gets flooded, and then you got to take the money you can get, because I'm not in the mood of letting the other one sell in order for mine to sell. I'm not that guy. It's in the garage, gets listed. Now I want to turn it into money. $10 plus shipping. I probably paid maybe $2 for it, so this is not worth it. When I needed stuff, you got to take what you can get. Now I don't need stuff, so I don't need to spend 15 minutes packing this, 20 minutes washing and listing this to make $7. The math's not adding up there, but $10 plus shipping if I didn't say. This is the good one of the day. Xbox. It's on C6. Xbox 360. Gibson Les Paul Guitar Hero guitar with a strap apparently, because I just dropped it. Right there, Les Paul. And I have spent the last 2 days watching so many videos and reading so many reviews because I am close to buying a new guitar. I personally have always loved the look of an SG, but the sound of a Les Paul, I don't know if I can compete with that. I don't know. It's a big buy, and the price difference is pretty big. You know, the difference between a Gibson Les Paul and a Gibson SG is like $1,000. So that's also a big factor. It's not something I'm going to take lightly, but definitely something I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure out. I may go, you know, like a higher end Epiphone for the Les Paul, and then a Gibson SG. That might end up being the difference, but who knows? But it was untested because I didn't have the dongle, the wireless dongle for it. But I assume it works. It looked fairly good, fairly clean, a couple of dings here, but it didn't look damaged to where it was not going to function. But even untested, 4 parts, $44.99 plus shipping. Now, if it's untested and you don't list it as for parts not working, you can get a return. Even though you say untested, they can get it. They can say this doesn't work and you didn't sell it for parts not working, so therefore they can return it. And then on B1, Smash Up, the game. This actually looked interesting, but not interesting enough to open. A brand new game that I got, I think for $1 at a rummage sale, maybe $2. But I love board games, but I have 1 child that's a baby, 2 that are not of the age that board games above Uno are any fun for them because they're difficult. And then my girlfriend, she gets competitive, but I'm a winner. So, you know, it's not fun to lose every time. So I get that. I hope she doesn't watch this. So that one's $17.99 plus shipping. Yeah, we've got tons of games. Tons of games. We play absolutely none of them. Next up, Animaniacs Wacko's Wish on VHS. I figured that would sell right about now since it is wintertime. Coming up on Christmas, $8.99 free shipping. And then we got a book, Little Women. It's a Reader's Digest edition, and I saw people selling this same one that I have as new because it had this with it, which I also have, and the book looks new. But you cannot sell something new that isn't new. I've been seeing so much of that on eBay just because it looks clean. I had a new in box Jumanji game, not the one that's in stores now that's plastic, the one that was out last season that's wooden. I had it in my store. I went to see, like, why hasn't it sold? And I sorted by them by new, and I looked, and I think it was 10, but it could have been, 7, somewhere in that, above mine were listed as new, but were not new. Mine was the top one that was new. And I think I listed them cheapest, maybe. And mine was there was so many above mine that were listed as new. One of them, all the parts and pieces were spread out. How is that new? All the rest of them did not have the plastic wrap, which means they pulled it out. They either A, played it once and decided it was too hard, or B, opened it, looked at it and said, nope, the instructions, it was too complicated or whatever, and decided to sell it as new. That's not new. It's been opened. New open box, sure. I'll give you that. But new, no. And I got, if I didn't say, $12.74, free shipping. That will go medium mail. This, unfortunately, it's heavy, but it's still $3 or something. It's no big deal. Then we have, last up on A5, 134X. Vintage looking, and I'm not positive if it actually is, but I think it is. They're head club covers, sock covers, knitted sock covers for your golf clubs. And I got $17.50 free shipping. That will 100% go first class. I'll throw that in a poly bag, and I probably paid $1. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with that one. Well, I'm gonna get this stuff packed up, and then I think I'm gonna go list some books for the rest of the day. I just feel like sitting down. I was working hard in the garage all weekend, plus a bonus day that I didn't expect on working. So I think sitting on my butt, doing a little easy listing for the day, I think that sounds nice. But that's gonna be all for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Subscribe, share, and be good to each other.